peeps, it's Great White making it happen again today with some more Portal Nights. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. I'm having a pretty good day. I'd say it's pretty decent. Pretty fantastic day for me. And today we're going to be doing some more Portal Nights stuff. So you guys probably noticed we released that tower defense build, and it was a pretty fun build to do. I was pretty excited about it, and I realized there's some mechanics that we use in that I'd like to share with you guys that I think would be helpful for anybody else looking to make a game in creative mode. So we're probably going to do something showing you the point system and how I got that to work. And I'm going to do one for the turrets too, because I think this could be useful. I think we really are kind of setting what could potentially become sort of a standard for creating tower defense type games, custom tower defense type games in Portal Knights, because I think there's a lot of potential behind this. I don't think, so let me clarify. I don't think what I'm doing is necessarily going to be the standard, but I think this is leading into a direction that you could build off of this and do things like totally different. Like you could really make these your own, but I think this logic that we're using is going to be the basis for a lot of that. So I just want to kind of show you guys how it works. So if you guys don't know already, in the tour I did of the tower defense, the custom turrets we made actually come in 3 varieties, and each variety has 3 different levels. So we have the fire turret that shoots at a constant rate, the ice turret, which is 3-round bursts, and then we have the light turret, which is 10-round bursts. And they all shoot the same number of, it's the same bullets per second. Like they shoot at the same like shot per second. So none of them shoots more bullets over 10 seconds than the other does. You know, that's what I mean. They all average to the exact same. It's just that they deliver that at different fire rates and different combinations of attacks. So I think it's pretty cool, the variety we have going on. The element type doesn't really play a role in it. Light doesn't do more damage to certain enemies. I think it's supposed to work that way, but in all the testing that I've done, the element doesn't actually affect anything. You get hit by the same amount no matter what. At least that's what I've found in my experiments so far. So if you guys know otherwise, let me know. I know there's supposed to be elemental damage, but it doesn't seem like it works. So let's get straight into building these now. So it's actually pretty simple the way we do things. It's all based off of pulse generators, right? So if we grab, let's grab this, our dirt block, and let's get a hold of that fire turret. Let's use the fire turret for the example today. Actually, we'll probably do a couple examples, but say we throw down a fire turret. What you guys will want to know is that when you throw down the fire turret, it's just going to start firing. It just goes. And it doesn't matter if it's this one or if it's the little one. You can totally use the little one too. It doesn't make any difference. They both work the same. They're going to start firing. They both shoot at the same fire rate. So it doesn't really matter. But what we want to know is that they're going to fire unless you have something hooked up to them. And then the way it works, if you hook something up to them, let's say we grab like a lever, and we throw this lever down, and we take the lever, get connection, put it into input number 1, right? As soon as something's hooked up to it, whether it's input 1 or input 2, it's gonna stop firing until it actually gets the signal, right? So say we use input number 1, right? Input number 1, as soon as it gets the signal for input number 1, it's just going to keep firing over and over again at this set fire rate. And it doesn't matter how frequently you send a signal into it. It's set at this universal clock fire rate thing. So it doesn't matter when or how fast you send the signal into it. It's just going to fire at that constant rate. If we do input number 2 though, you're going to notice that it fires every time we send a signal into it. Immediately. And that is where we're able to kind of customize these turrets and make them do what we want them to. So let's talk about how we're going to get these to fire at a certain rate. So a lot of this is going to be based around the delay, because if you guys don't know already, if you haven't followed the tutorial series I have, delays are actually pulse generators when you don't have anything hooked up to them. So if I just take this right now and we set it to, let's leave it at 1 second, let's get connection, and let's put that connection into input number 2 for this turret. It's now going to start firing every 1 second. Well, I think it's actually every 2 seconds, because the pulse generator, it changes from on to off every 1 second. So it's every 2 seconds technically. So if you wanted to shoot every 1 second, we put it at 0.5. Yep. And then we can change this down to 0.1. and we get super fast fire rate, right? So every 1 second it's going to shoot at this rate. So then if you wanted to go faster, you just change this interval. And that, so this one's pretty simple, right? This one's pretty easy. If we want to create turrets that shoot in like 3-round bursts though, then it's going to get a little bit more interesting. So let's come over here and let's put this, actually, let's move this over and put that right there. Let's put it at 0.5 seconds, so shooting every 1 second, and let's apply there. Perfect. So that one's working just like it should. Let's do the ice trail. Let's do the 3-round burst. So the 3-round burst is a little bit more interesting than that. So we throw down this 3-round burst, the ice turret, and this one, again, nothing's hooked up to it, so it's just going to keep firing over and over again. And what we can do is we can do the same thing here where we have our pulse generator, put it to 0.5 seconds. Now it's the exact same as the fire turret, right? But we want to do 3-round bursts. So what we actually want to do is we want it to every, let's say every 2 seconds, shoot in a 3-round burst. So how do we do that? Well, what we need to do is we need to say every 3 seconds, we want it to shoot 3 times and then stop. So we need to take this pulse and we want to say when this is on and say the super fast fire rate is on, then we want it to go at the same time. So what we could do, this isn't how we're going to do it, but let me show you. So if we do put this here and we make this like the fire rate, like how fast the 3-round burst goes, like we'll put this down to 0.1 seconds. And let's grab an AND gate really quick, just to kind of show you the thought process behind how this is going to work. Let's grab an AND gate, and let's say when this is on and this is on, then we want to have this fire. So if you can see what's happening right now is that this is going over and 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 over again, right? Because this is set to 0.1 seconds. So technically every 0.2 seconds, it's sending a signal because every 0.1 seconds it turns on and then off and then on and then off. So every 0.2 seconds it turns on, every 0.2 seconds it turns off. And then this is just going every 2 seconds. So every 2 seconds this turns on, and for that 1 second that it's on before it turns back off, it is matching up with this one, which is turning on and off every 0.2 seconds. So that's why we get 5 shots, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So it lines up actually pretty much perfectly. So that's cool, but say we don't want it to work like that. We want a 3-round burst, right? So how do we take this and turn it into a 3-round burst? Well, we're going to need to, this 1 second that this is on is too short. What if we change this to 0.5 seconds? So now every 1 second, 1, 2, 3, 3-round burst, just like that. So that's how we can do it like that. But say that's too fast. Say we want it to do a 3-round burst, but we want it to shoot slower than that, right? Maybe I want 3 rounds and then I want it to wait like 5 seconds and then shoot again. Well, we would need to increase this, right? Say we put it at 2 seconds, so every 4 seconds it turns on. But if we do that, we're going to run into a different problem, right? In that it's going to fire super fast, but it's going to happen, so it's going to fire too long. So what we can do is we can turn this into a shorter pulse, right? So what we do is we do our NOT gate, delay, and a NOR gate. This is our pulse generator. So if you guys haven't followed the tutorial on logic blocks, you should go check that out. It's on my channel. But NOT gate, delay, NOR gate. And we're going to take this delay that's happening every 2 seconds, and we're going to send that into the NOT gate and the delay. The NOT gate's going to go up here. The delay is also going to go up here. And then this is going to go into our AND gate instead of this one. So now we're going to take this and turn it into the 0.5 seconds that we had on this before that caused it to be a 3-round burst. So now what's happening is This is still going every 0.1 seconds, and that's what's causing the three shots really fast. And this is constantly going. So even when it's not shooting, this over here is still going over and over and over again into the sand gate. And now what's happening over here is that we've got this delay, which is nothing's hooked up to it, so it's a pulse generator on 2 seconds. So every 2 seconds it turns on, and then 2 seconds later turns off. 2 seconds later turns on. 2 seconds later turns off. So every 4 seconds it turns on. And when it turns on, it's sending the signal into this pulse generator, which is taking that 4 second, it's taking that time that this is on, which is technically 2 seconds, and it's shortening it into just a 0.5 second pulse. So instead of being on for 2 whole seconds and shooting a bunch of shots, it's only on for 0.5 seconds. And that's what we're sending into the AND gate to compare this signal with this one over here. So every 4 seconds, it shoots just 3 shots. Perfect. Pretty easy, right? So using that logic, it's going to be pretty simple for us to do the sun turret too then, right? So all we would need to do for that, we need everything that we've already used, right? So let's grab the sun turret here and let's place that down. And let's go ahead and grab the... Oh, here's a pretty cool thing is that for this, you know how we have this one up here that's constantly going every 0.1 seconds? It's going constantly. This one actually, we don't need to do another one of these. We can just use this same one on this turret over here, because this just determines the fire rate, like how fast the shots are going, and we don't need to do that again. We can save ourselves a logic block and keep the game from kind of slowing down by just using the same one. So if we keep this, now we just need to say every 10 seconds we want the pulse to go. So let's put one here. Let's set it to 5 seconds. So every 10 seconds it's going to turn on, because every 5 seconds it turns on and then 5 seconds later turns off. So every 10 seconds it turns on. And so we're going to take that and we need to turn that into a pulse as well, because it's going to shoot way too many if we haven't turned on for 10 whole seconds. So we need to create another pulse generator over here. And this is like our custom pulse generator. This is like a like the built-in pulse generator. And this one means we can take a constant signal and shorten it. So let's call this a pulse shortener, I guess. This is going to be our pulse shortener. And this one is our pulse generator. So we'll take this, and this is the one that goes every 5 seconds. We're going to send it into the NOT gate and the delay. Then we're going to take that NOT gate, put it into the NOR gate on top, take the delay, put it into the NOR gate on top, and then we're going to use this NOR gate to compare to the fire rate delay. And so we'll need an AND gate for that. So let's toss this AND gate here, put the NOR gate into it, grab this, which is our fire rate generator, and we'll put that into the AND gate as well. So now I can take this and put it into here, into input number 2, so that every time it gets a signal it shoots. And we'll want this to be, let's try 2 seconds. We may need to make it longer, because if we think if it shoots 1 whole second, it's going to be 5, so 2 whole seconds should be 10 shots, right? Let's count. Here it comes. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, that's 10, just like that. Cool. Because if we consider that this is set to 0.1 seconds, so there's 10 of these in 1 second, right? So that's a tenth of a second. So there's 10 of these in 1 second. When it's set to 0.1 seconds, it's going to turn on and off every 0.1 seconds. So it'll turn on 5 seconds, or 5 times in 1 whole second. So that's why there would be 5 shots. So if we set it to 2 seconds for the amount of time that it's on, then we'll hit 10 total shots. And that's it. That's really all there is to it. So then you can create an upgrade system simply by using timers. So all I did here is I just set up timers that when the game starts, the first timer is on. And then if you press a button, it checks to see, is the button pressed and this timer on? If it is, turn this timer on. And when this timer turns on, it turns the one in front of it off. So when level 2 is activated, it turns off the timer for level 1. When level 3 is activated, it turns off the timer for level 2. So that's pretty simple logic there. If you guys can follow this, I imagine you know what's going on with this too. Just with the simple timers turning off the level before it. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, that's how I made the turrets, guys. It's really pretty simple, and you could get pretty wild with this, I think. You could do some pretty interesting stuff, and I think this has potential. You certainly could create upgradable turrets. The only reason I didn't in the tower defense that I made is because I was trying to conserve logic blocks because having too many of these really bogs down your game. Even this place right now, I have a bunch of like, so I have one of these over here going every 0.1 seconds. I have one over here too that we're using for the turrets over here. I think, is it this one? No, these are set up just as button unpressors. Is it? Oh man, I don't even remember anymore. It's been a while since I set these up, but I'm using the same delay to cause the fire rate for both this sun turret and this ice turret. And the reason I do that is because I don't know this is true for sure, but these pulse generators, these delays, when they're set to pulse generators, I imagine if you have something that's turning a signal on and off every 0.2 seconds, or 0.1 seconds, I should say, I imagine if you have a lot of those going at once and they're not all starting at the same time, well, actually, regardless of whether they're starting at the same time or not, if you have a lot of those going, I imagine that's a lot of like things that the game has to update constantly over and over and over again. So if you have too many of those, I just imagine they're gonna take up a lot of resources and cause the map to be really laggy and just bad. So you want to try and use blocks as sparingly as you can, and also reuse stuff you already have if you can. There's no reason to place another pulse generator if you already have one doing what you need it to do. Like, for example, if I wanted these not to be necessarily shooting at the same fire rate, and I could have just said shoot 3-round bursts at the same interval that this one shoots 1, and I could have used this same pulse generator. That wouldn't really be fair. I needed to use a separate pulse generator because I wanted these to be equal. I wanted these to shoot all at the same amount, so one wasn't necessarily better than the other. They all shoot at like over 10 seconds the same number of bullets. So that's just an example. I mean, you could, if you weren't worried about it being balanced, you could have used the same one. But that's what I'm saying. Just a general idea, just a general piece of advice is if you can reuse things that you already have, you should do that instead of placing a new item to do the same thing. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's how the turrets work. I think the next thing we'll do, the next tutorial we'll go over, is probably going to be the point system, because the point system is pretty cool. I think it's pretty awesome. Being able to keep track of points for players is really useful for making a game of your own. But let me know if this was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions about it, get in the comments section. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, dudes.